Yo, yo,
Yo,
yo, yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the It's Friend of Me podcast, episode number 48. But before getting into it, if you guys can make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That being said, let's just kind of get right into the nitty gritty. So, I mean, it's been, I guess you could say, a crazy 24 hours, I guess you would say. I guess
I
you could.
don't, I, I don't know, man. It hasn't been as crazy as last week.
Nah, yeah, that's true. But that being said, I mean, for those who have not watched AEW Dynamite, it, so we did actually, like I said, we said another solid show last night. Obviously, we found out what the fifth members are for the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. Well, obviously, Pat, I think he came back from a broken nose the last time from something I read about. I think it might have been a broken nose or something like that. And then Kota Ibushi. Even though it's kind of crazy that me and Tyler, because I brought up a sudden thought in my head last night. So it's like, didn't Kota actually?
Yeah, you said. I think it was like last week, or
Last night.
No, it was last night. It was last night. You said last night before the show even started. We just started streaming. Show hasn't even started yet. It was like a minute before.
Yeah.
And you said, dude, remember 2019 when they were working together? I'm like, oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. So it's like, because think about it, because when we talked about this last week on the show, it's like we didn't want to say Kota, to be the fifth member because it's like because at the time it's like, oh, he didn't care about the Elite, just only about Kenny. Then all of a sudden that little thought popped in my head. So like, oh right, I forgot about 2019 where they actually, at least worked together for a bit against Bullet Club. It's like, how the hell did I not remember that during the show? It's like, son of a bitch. But hey, we got Kota Ibushi, and obviously right now one of the biggest current free agents on the pro wrestling market, so to speak. Because you have, well, that's right now. It kind of looks like he's more leaning towards a sign with AEW. The way how everything has gone on the past 24 hours or something, probably going further. But I could be wrong though. But I think overall, for those who have not watched, because don't. But for those who follow us on TikTok, I did post our reaction from last night, so it was interesting to see. Obviously, there's been some, I guess, not truthful rumors or reports. It's like, well, I can't really believe this. That the fact that he got lost at the airport and Kenny Omega couldn't find him, so that's a reason why that Ibushi didn't show up last night. So
they tried to do it. They tried to make it a humor kayfabe thing. He got lost in the damn airport and shit like that. That was just humor, a humorous kayfabe reason. You know how the Elite are. You know how they are. So it's hard to believe because it didn't happen, but it's more so like the Elite humor, which you kind of expect from them.
Oh yeah,
is the fact that you got left at the airport because you didn't find the exit. But it was just for laughs.
But now we finally got the Blood and Guts match for next week, July 19th at 7. Well, actually, technically, would be 7:50. So, because actually we're going to do a quick discussion of the show, with not just from myself, Tyler. We're going to have Earl returning as well from vacation, and also obviously our other compadre, Rafael Chassin, the another good member as well. It was interesting to see, especially it was actually there were some good moments from last night as well. I mean, Nick Wayne made his debut after AW being patient with him before he's turning 18. Now you have two 18-year-olds on the roster, both in the men's and women's division, which is now I will say Nick Wayne was impressive, but there's just some things that I still think he can work on, because you can see there's little bit some stuff.
I don't think no. I don't think that he has anything to work on. He's actually a really good wrestler. I didn't really see a flaw from him last night. I have to disagree with that take. I have to. He actually could. He actually can wrestle fairly well. He also can cut a promo fairly well, judging on the vignette. So I really don't think there's anything he could work on.
All right.
There was not one botch in that match.
Right. But then again, though, man, it's just like, it's kind of crazy now, like, because we did talk about last night as well. You have both that Nick Wayne, Source Raker, and kind of revisiting their time during Defy Wrestling, and they also had Aubrey Edwards, who also officiated Nick Wayne's first match. It's kind of crazy now. It's how it kind of comes full circle up to this point, and we kind of talked about this too. I mean, Billy Starks is another one that's been, working her tailbone off. And you get recognized for it. I mean, even though she was on the Prove It deal with the Ring of Honor, and they gave her a full-time deal.
Yeah, look what happened with Sky Blue. She was on a Prove It deal. We said this last week on our show. She was on a Prove It deal.
Oh man,
what happened? She's one of AEW's biggest rising stars.
No, I mean, shit. I mean, actually put on another nice match with Ruby Soho, and obviously, the outcome most can basic. You couldn't. It was no right or wrong. Just right or wrong answer to move on. But I guess you could say the plan with Sky Blues. I think they're just continue to get more seasoning and try to. Well, I'm not say try, but and kind of focus her more around the women's division. And same with Ruby. And Ruby. We talked about this last night. The booking was, the last past year has not been great. But do I wonder what the whole entire damn thing? But sure. There'll be a nice little rectification because, talent wise, I mean, Ruby Soho has it, even though the promos, I mean, she's gotten better. It's just like sometimes it's kind of hard to buy into what she's selling, so to speak.
Here's the thing. She always could cut a promo. She always could cut a promo. But the problem is with her is that, like you said, it's hard to buy into anything when the booking is bad.
Yeah, because the booking.
I'm gonna beat you, and then she loses a match.
Yeah, it's because the only one that has probably literally some proper booking is probably Toni Storm at the most. But I mean,
Saraya, she's just there now. Like, I don't even know if she is in a match anymore. It's like,
I mean, I would probably say she would, but then again, I think she's kind of, because there's the thing too. She's been to the company a few months now, coming off that neck since being officially cleared.
No, she's been on the roster almost a full year.
Or a full year.
And she's had a pretty good run, having matches week after week after week. So I don't think an injury is a problem, with AEW. It's just that they have nothing for her. Which, what?
Yeah.
So you just put her in a managerial role, with the rest of the outcasts?
Or no, kind of crazy out the stretch. Maybe, she kind of has doubts, even though being fully cleared after a full year, there's still a possibility she has second thought.
No, I don't even think she even has doubts, Rob.
Like I said, it was just a stretch.
She's been fighting since 2018 to get back in the ring. She's been fighting since then, dude. So there's no doubts in her.
Well, like we said, AEW, can they have a few dud shows here and there? Yeah, but then again, well, wrestling company doesn't have a dud show nowadays. But I mean, it's been, at least from this past week to the week before, it's been some good consistency. Week in and week out for both. Dynamite, it sometimes can be hit and miss depending on the week. And
honestly not really lately. Lately, they've had a string of good shows.
Oh, yeah. I know that, but I'm just saying in general because
they've had like one bad show though this year.
I mean, pay-per-view wise, I mean, geez.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Hit, another hit, like, dude.
And I get. I wouldn't count this year's Double or Nothing was a hit. It was kind of hit and a miss at the same time.
It started off as a hit, but after that, whatchamacallit, the Jamie Hayter Tony Storm debacle that happened.
Yeah, and that's pretty much when everything went to shit. So right down the toilet. But like Tyra said, it's been a string of really good shows, week after week. Collision has been pretty solid. I mean, especially if you look at last week's episode where Bullet Club Gold, like, just give me FTR and Bullet Club Gold for the next week, or at least have these. If they decide if the FTR decides to retain, keep having that team. Bullet Club Gold. Marin. Still continue this program with FTR because, boy, did they really tear the house down in that Eliminator tag team match last week on Collision.
You have like 7 or 8 near falls.
That's like, can we get...
And that match lasted what?
Almost
30 minutes?
Because it was a 30-minute time. It was a 30-minute time limit type of match. So they went
it lasted 28 minutes.
I was like, damn.
Well, a 28-minute match and a 30-minute time limit match.
I mean, that's what happens when you have 4 of the best to do it. Jay White, even though it's not saying, still as talented as ever. Juice Robinson, please lay off the crack. That would be nice, figuratively speaking. But it's also, and knowing, this is, FTR, they're coming on because right now I think they're in the latter half as well. Well, not Bullet Club, but FTR. I know their time is going to come to an end. I think by the next couple of years or so. I think it was a 2-year extension.
They have a 3-year contract, and they said when that 3-year contract is up, they are retiring. They are not re-signing. They're not, and Tony Khan respects that. They made their announcement right after they signed that extension. They have a 3-year extension, and they've got a couple. They're on the first year to 3 years. So after this year, they got 2 years left. Once that's up, man, they're done. They're retiring.
And I know, because I know Dax is getting up there in age. I don't know how old is Cash. I think Cash Wheeler might be in his early 30s.
I think Cash is up in like 37, 38 range. I think. And then you have, I think
Dax looks like he's almost looking pushing 40.
Dax pushing 40 for sure.
And I can see why. And plus, I think you also too, like, once you retire, like, it's kind of, and they want to do not want to take a toll, keep beating their bodies up for much longer because I mean, look,
and plus they had said that they have families, so it's like, how long do you have left? Like, when you've done it for so long, you've won everywhere. You did all you can do. You did all you can do in wrestling. You won titles in AEW, WWE, the Indies, Ring of Honor.
I mean, AAA, New Japan, like they were the belt collectors.
New Japan. They had that term, the belt collectors, in 2019, 2020 for a reason.
And they probably the best one that they've been. But Cash Wheeler is 36.
So he's pushing 42. They're both pushing 40. So, and they got families, like they said.
And Dax is just turned 39 this year. So next year
he's really pushing 40. Okay. But they're older guys. They're pretty much veterans at this point.
And they've been around since 2000. Well, Dax has been around since 2004 in terms of his wrestling career.
So Dax started as a singles guy?
Cash Wheeler. Yeah, Cash Wheeler didn't come in until a year later in 2005 on the independent circuit.
Oh,
so
okay.
before FTR were a team, they were kind of singles competitors for, I think, up before they got signed and before 2014. When did they? Because I'm looking
when did they go to WWE?
2014. God, that feels like a fucking long time ago.
Which I don't know what, dude. I don't know why WWE struck so late though.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like,
they were old. They were old dudes by that point.
And they spent 6 years with the company.
That was from 2014 to like 2019 was when they
2020 actually was the last year.
They just did spend another year, but that last year was embarrassing as hell.
Yeah, that was
Let's just have them in a program with the Usos where the Usos put Icy Hot in their damn trunks where their asses burn.
that was a head scratcher. Say why, like the pandemic era, like always had like a bunch of bullshit, for a lack of a better term.
So then they left WWE, but they had a good start because they had won the tag titles.
I think actually one of the longest reigning NXT tag champs before.
But they also won the main roster titles.
Yeah, they actually had a pretty good run as well.
They had a pretty good run.
It was the latter half.
It was like what, 2018?
I think 20. Yeah, I think early to mid 2018. If I have to guess,
it had to have been early to mid 2018 because they were still the the NXT tag champs in 2016.
Which is crazy. That's 7 years ago. What the fuck?
Yeah. So honestly, I think they were in their early 30s.
Yeah, I would think
late 20s, early 30s when they got signed by the company.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, they're up there as one of the greatest tag teams of this generation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. I don't know about WWE Hall of Fame, but Wrestling Hall of Fame.
I don't think FTR ever had has any bad blood with WWE. I wouldn't think so.
After that embarrassing stunt they pulled,
you know what? That's a good point. I never really would have thought about that. But that is interesting to see. But I think overall, I think you definitely could put them in like the top 5 in terms of tag teams. With Demolition, the Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, the Hardys. Was that 4 that I just named right off the top of my head? I think I lost count.
Yeah. I don't even think you can put them there in like the WWE standpoint, but in the wrestling standpoint, yes.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wrestling standpoint over.
Yeah, they're up there. But FTR, will retire after the 3-year contract is up.
And it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Like say, then again, I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Khan would actually have these guys as the coaches or producers for any next upcoming tag teams. Because man, you could imagine that the wealth of knowledge, not just like a guy like like FTR. I mean, look, you got Bryan Danielson also hitting creative as well, so you can the dude Bryan Danielson. You got some vets that. Let's talk about a wealth of knowledge in the 5-year span that this company has. Bryan Danielson, FTR.
Yep. And also, dude, good up for FTR making an 80s wrestling gimmick work.
Oh, definitely.
Give it up for them making an 80s wrestling gimmick work.
Because I was just kind of skeptical to say, are people very good? Is this real good to connect with fans? Saying, by God, I mean, they prove me otherwise. I mean, they are the top guys, as their model says. But since we did mention WWE, so former, I think for those who remember the BWO, Stevie Richards have not. If anybody has not seen that interview with Chris Van Fleet with him and Stevie Richards, I highly recommend you check that out because Stevie Richards,
he's a fucking badass, bro.
So
he had a goddamn spinal infection that was eating his spine.
Yeah, it's like, God.
And he beat that shit.
So he did say, I mean, you could tell, like, even if he didn't have it, I don't think he would be the same as he used to be. Even though, yes, he was used as a comedy gimmick
in the WWO as Dr. CB and TNA Impact. I don't know how the hell I still remember that. It was so beyond me. But yeah,
he was also fucking Crazy Stevie Richards when he was Victorian, like 03.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And she also had a bit of a thing with Daphne as well. God rest her soul. At the same time,
that was when he was Dr. Steve.
Yeah, God, as a business,
because they started having like an on-screen relationship.
And as a business therapist, that still boggles my.
Dude, it was therapist turned boyfriend. I'm like, what the hell?
This would have been what, 2004, 2005, somewhere around that time frame.
Impact, no, that was like 09. It was like 2009, 2010.
Oh God.
And it was like a freaking therapist turned evil therapist turned boyfriend.
Yeah. It's just like, what the hell is this?
Like, what the
like, dude. 2009 and 2010 TNA Impact was actually really enjoyed those years, actually. Not gonna lie. And it's crazy they had
it was only until freaking Eric Bischoff
and Hogan showed up.
Showed the hell up and ruined shit.
And look where Impact's now is ever since then. Here's
the thing. Impact has fallen, but their fall didn't come until the Billy Corgan and freaking Dixie Carter days.
Yeah, that was.
They both can't run a damn company. I'm sorry, they can't run They can't run companies. Billy Corgan is freaking ruining NWA as we speak.
And first of all,
he ruined Impact.
And you got to think of this too. The NWA is a historic wrestling promotion. They had like the likes of Harley Race, Ric Flair.
Oh, it's gonna be dead and buried soon now.
The late Dusty Rhodes. Like the list can go on and on of the people. I guess Ricky the Dragon Steep, but I don't think he ever wrestled with NWA. But I could be completely wrong. But regardless, you
brought back the old school style in 2019, and then 2020, 2021, or whatever. You start doing this thing where you're having weird gimmicks show up, and you push the weird gimmicks over to classic wrestlers. Like you had guys like Nick Aldis there. You had freaking Camille Brickhouse. I don't even know how she's still there.
I would have thought she would actually left by then.
After the comments that Billy Corgan made, I thought she would have left.
That was
distasteful as hell. What he said.
I'm surprised he didn't get slapped. Get the ever living hell slapped slap the ever living hell out of because of his comments.
Bro, the way that freaking Camille Brickhouse is built, if he slapped him, he probably would have died.
Nah, I think we probably have a broken jaw.
The way she's built like a freaking Mack truck, dude.
And also,
she's buff.
This is why, and not just to go back to the Impact, but this is also I'll give a lot of credit to AJ too, because I think he also knew the writing on the wall, like how Impact was turning out, and got out
as soon as 2014 hit. He's like, nah, I'm out.
I said, yep, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Fuck you guys.
But
fuck you guys, I'm going to Japan.
And let's be real, kind of killed it in Japan. It's like at the end of the day, you gotta have to consider, at the end of the day, AJ Styles is going to be a WWE Hall of Famer regardless.
Oh, he's in. He's sure far in. As soon as he won the damn title, 2016, he was in.
And let's be real, probably one of the best debuts I've seen in terms of on a pay-per-view.
Dude.
And oh boy,
when the words "I am phenomenal" came in, and the crowd knew.
I was like,
that crowd freaking erupted.
I'm thinking myself, like, no way.
The floor.
I was, because at the time I was trying to say, no way that they landed AJ Styles, because
I had just started watching it again. Like I was like, I think this was like early 2016. I was kind of starting to get into it. But I wasn't really I was dipping my toes in this shit, right? I wasn't really. I was like, let me watch Royal Rumble.
This was still the boycott at the same time, if I remember correctly.
This was still during my bullshit boycott.
The quote unquote boycott.
I found out it was fake in 2012. Don't know how I got pissed at 2012 that I found out it was fake. I was 13, 14 when I found this shit out. Actually, no, I wasn't 13. I was 14. I should have already knew that this shit was fake, or not real, or scripted. I shouldn't say fake, but because of all the strenuous shit they have to go through in the ring. it's not all fake, but it is scripted, and some of the stuff is fake, like the punches and the kicks.
Well, unless you're not stiff.
Unless you're not stiff as hell,
And
you could be asking for a receipt if you really punch.
Yeah, speaking of receipts, I remember.
Hold on, let me finish. Right, that was my bullshit boycott. I found out it was fake at 14. Right.
Yeah, the quote unquote.
And I quit. Freaking cold turkey quit for like a few years. Early 2016, it was like late 2015, early 2016. I'm like trying to get into it. I'm like, I'm flipping through channels. I'm like, oh, Monday Night Raw's on. Let me try to get back into this. And I kept trying. I was really struggling to get back into it. And then 2016, I was like, let me watch Royal Rumble. Then I watched that debut. And I'm like, no freaking way. I was like, I'm like, no way did WWE land somebody like AJ freaking Styles. I thought he would never sign with WWE ever.
Because if you think about it, you got certain wrestlers that are longtime lifers. I mean, like, God, who can I like say the Undertaker, for example, who spent over 3 decades with the company, and
that's like if the Undertaker signed with TNA.
Oh, oh boy, that would have been fucking nuts. That would,
yeah. Imagine that. Imagine it in an alternate universe. The Undertaker versus Abyss.
That'd be interesting to see.
Yo, that would have been awesome.
And this is so at the time when Abyss was at the top of his of his game at the time. And God bless him, man. Jeez, but the dude just knows how to take bumps.
But now he's a backstage producer for WWE now.
Yeah, I think he has.
So he kind of is in the company, but not as a wrestler because he's been retired for a while.
Yeah, he's up there in age, and I think he realized, even though
he realizes the writing on the wall.
And it's another thing too, because we did talk about receipts, but man, I think if we talk about the person who's known for giving hard receipts, that'd be the Undertaker. Once you fucking stiff him, he will not forget.
I remember one time somebody stiffed him with a steel chair. And then Undertaker went, wow, with a steel chair right back and right to the head, right to the skull. I was like, damn, he really wrenched for that swing. He was swinging for the fences with that one. God damn.
It's kind of weird now it's kind of cringeworthy looking at it nowadays compared to back then. It's like, man, like how far have we come?
This was back then. I think it was like in the Ruthless Aggression era where you could take chair shots to the head still.
Yeah,
he goes and stiffs him with a chair. Bop.
Like,
damn.
Oh boy, it's like people, y'all gotta realize too, like we come a long way, and and rightfully so. After a certain situation, we're taking shots to the head. Like we're not going to mention the incident, but
the incident that caused chair shots to be banned in 2008. Or actually not 2008, like 2009, 2010, because 2008 they still had chair shots to the head. I thought it was banned outright in 2008 because of the incident. It took a while for them to fizzle that out, but they had ended up eventually fizzling that out by honestly, I think they fizzled it out by July of 2008 because early 2008 they still did chair shots because the PG didn't happen until July. HD happened early, but PG never happened until July.
Yeah, it's like, year. And you had
and once they went PG, man, chair shots gone. Chair shots to the head
obviously gone. And thank God that did a lot of wonders for.
That was one of the things that I don't miss.
I don't. Because I remember, because this Twitter. Well, if this was on Twitter nowadays, like you would have some people were asking for us. It's like, but then again, you have most of the IWC would be concerned because think about it,
But then again, you have AEW doing chair shots to the head.
Actually, minus that one little thing with, you haven't really done it as much.
That's because of that incident. They were doing chair shots to the head before that.
Yeah, before Cody got split open. Like, even though that was
because Sean Spears unintentionally stiffed him. That was the problem. I think Cody said, "Go ahead, really give it to me. Take that chair shot and hit me hard with the shit."
Sometimes I wonder, it's like, dude, like you're not great, dude. Like you gotta put a limit on things. But I mean,
I remember one time, right? There was like the clip that went around, right, of when Ken Shamrock was like down on his knees,
if it was
and
with him and the
goes,
Rock,
and him and the Rock, and he said, "Really give it to me, Rock." And next you know, bam, right in the face.
Even Shamrock said, "Yeah, the Rock was hesitant to do it." But it's like I can see why.
I can see why too. But you said he did it, and it was right to the face.
Oh, I was like, man, how did you not have a broken nose from that? That's my.
And the way he fell back, I'm like, yeah, he stiffed him. There's no way.
Even though it's like, thank God. Even though we hate the PG era, but sometimes you gotta give work.
Honestly, I'm starting to really not hate the PG era. To me, the PG era is fine. The problem is the fact that they've limited themselves booking wise.
Yeah, that was one thing you want to hate about the PG era, because
you can create good stories under a PG era.
Oh yeah,
you did it with the Bloodline.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Besides the Bloodline,
you can create good stories under PG umbrellas.
But I mean, it's kind of crazy.
No, if they can't do the edgy shit, and if they can't do the let's strip the women naked and shit like that. Like they used to do. And they can't book shows. Like
what? Oh God. I still as a kid, like how the hell you and I got away with that shit as a kid in the mid 2000s, give or take. You know, it's like yeah, it's like thank God.
We talked about this countless times, man. We talked
it's like not just us. I mean, you can imagine like the kids who grew up in the late 90s, go into the early 2000s or something like that, or when you look back as yeah, there's some shit now back then. Even both that's what they will combine the attitude and the ruthless aggression era that doesn't fly. Obviously, for me, the attitude,
there's been a few times where wrestlers got flashed as a distraction. Imagine the kids there seeing that shit.
Yeah, and you could imagine how pissed off the parents might have been.
No, the parents probably showed the eyes all offended. They probably left after that.
Yeah, probably. Or in terms of some of the stuff that I remember, or is when let's just be real with the which even though it judged out as well, even if the Attitude Era wasn't I mean that his kind of character version before he went to before he started Impact, it's boy, Toppa shit does not fly, putting women into the figure four leg lock, made some misogynistic. Had a misogynistic type of promo.
Don't worry, I said this. We talked about this on the last episode, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a crazy time in wrestling. They call it the Wild West for a reason, because it was wild. It was wild. Late 90s and in the 2000s, man, wild. Bro.
I mean, shit, you got the Ruthless Aggression era had a sponsor with Girls Gone Wild. Like, who would have thought that would be fucking possible?
Literally, their sponsor was porn.
I'm thinking to myself,
and here's the thing: they didn't have two sponsors that were freaking porn. They had a deal with a nudie magazine.
Because one of the
a freaking nudie magazine until 08.
Yeah, I think it was Playboy at the time. I think he was one of the other sponsors as well.
Yeah,
that was oh boy, that was something. I mean, shit. You also had, man, who remembers the Diva Surge?
They had women. They had two of the freaking women feuding over who's going to be in a magazine every single year, dude. It's like, are you kidding me? You're fighting over that?
Yeah, that did. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, like how you could imagine, and speaking of, and God, even not just throughout the 2000s, through the Playboy and stuff like that. I mean, you had bra and panty matches, all this stuff, like some of the crazy
bra and panty matches, pillow fights, fucking
it's like
teases, bikini contests.
Yeah, remember that.
fucking the Diva Church. For some reason, they had like different like derogatory shit that went on.
Yeah, that was
yeah, that was bad.
Thank God we moved on from that. But I mean, it's like, you know, and like I said, with the PG era, yeah, sometimes you got to follow certain parameters, and you know, at WWE,
but you can make. But I've said it before. You can make good stories out of
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to go edgy to make a good story. You don't,
because you can do it. I mean, you've seen like TV shows that are PG have some good stories. Now, some others not so much because they're shitty writing, but that's besides the point. Then again, we have seen it quite a handful of times.
But then again, you have the fans who missed the TV 14 era so much. They call it Nickelodeon bullshit. Like, what?
Because first of all, like,
this bloodline story is just Nickelodeon bullshit. Oh, this is Nickelodeon bullshit. Just put WWE on the Disney Channel already. It's just catered for kids. No shit.
Why? Yeah, that's like, yeah.
It's 2020 freaking 3. Half the shit that you liked from back in the day
does not fly
today. So no shit, it's like Nickelodeon and Disney Channel now.
Because I mean,
no shit.
Because think about it. I think before they went PG they went fully PG in 09 or somewhere around there, 08, 09, somewhere in that. But you got to think of this too.
What the sponsors?
No, WWE. Because I feel like they went fully PG. They went fully PG.
They went fully PG in the summer of 08.
Because if you think about it,
it was July 08 when they went PG fully.
And that's another thing too that I did want to touch upon that as well, like you mentioned too, like how people are kind of bitching and complaining about it. You got to think of this, thinking of the company. You could have mentioned the company, some of the backlash, you know, the pressure that is going against them if they want to stick with the edgy stuff that they used to do. But you know, a lot of times you have to cater to a different audience because over time, like your audience changes over time. Because think about it, you had the Attitude Eras from more teens to adults. Probably, I guess.
Yeah, the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression Era were both catered to teens and adults.
And then
PG era was more catered to kids. The new era, this new era is still catered to kids. It's catered to kids now.
Yeah, and it's got to think of the student. And speaking of which, too, and me and Tara actually talked about another thing that still hasn't fly. Remember that we still don't fly, Eugene. So I mean, shout out to the guy who actually played the character.
Oh, we've already talked about this too, man. Let's just get past that.
But speaking of which, AEW, there's an article. I pulled up Wrestling News, but AEW, you know, kudos to them. Has sent talent a list of moves that are banned or need to be cleared, so no shit happens. What I mean by
remember, they were doing it free reign. They didn't have a ban. They didn't have like moves. Okay, you can't do this because this guy's getting hurt or that. No, they didn't even have guidelines because half of the shit a lot of these wrestlers can't do. And I'm glad this happened because look what happened. 2-3 weeks ago. No freaking reason. I bet you one of those bands saying don't have Sting jump off shit.
But they said but this article goes on to say there is a lot more freedom in AEW than there is in WWE, especially with promos as AEW talent has bullet points, while those in WWE work mostly from scripted promos. But then again, we kind of know that at that point.
That's how WWE used to work. They weren't usually they used to not be heavily scripted. With promos, it was usually bullet points. Okay, you have this feud going on, and then you have this championship going after. Let's cut a promo centered around those two things, those two bullet points.
Because for me, the way how AEW, like I said, with the bullet point format, reminds me of what the Attitude Era used to be, and kind of
the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Exactly, you could tell there's there's a
lot of free reign, but there's also there's a value to that. There's a lot of unexpected moments out of that.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know,
some
you
members.
don't have, you don't have this set thing happening and then this set thing happening.
Yeah,
Like WWE now feels like scripted moments in a video game.
yeah, that is true.
You have to trigger a cutscene. You have to trigger this. You have to trigger that.
You remember those?
This saying triggers this to happen, and then this triggers this to happen. Like there's a set
It's like,
moment, a set thing. There's
it's
not a lot of unexpectedness. With AEW, hold on, let me finish. With AEW, with the bullet point thing, you don't have that. Oh, I expect this to happen, or I expect that to happen.
No,
you
because
know,
it keeps you
there's
guessing.
There's been a few times where AEW flat out swerved us.
Yeah, that's kind of the point I actually want to make, because even though with the bullet points, like, yeah, it keeps you guessing each and every week, or depending on if they have a segment with that or not. And going back to what your point, how WWE is now with its promos, it's like with those little dominoes, like as soon as one tips over, it's pretty much like a chain reaction, basically, for the way I look at it in terms of a visual metaphor. But obviously, SRS, even though we meet our, and most of the IWC, they do
the IWC and us, right? Most of the IWC, some of the IWC gets spoon fed this shit. We don't like beat writers. We don't like the insiders that think that they know about this company and that company.
And we're looking at you, Ringside News. You're not escaping. You're not
just Ringside News. Not just Ringside News. We're looking at you, Wrestling Observer.
Oh yeah, Wrestling Observer
We're looking
Radio.
At you, Sean Ross Sapp. We're looking at you, Dave Meltzer.
I mean, if you talk about
we're looking at you, Brian Alvarez.
Yeah, if you talk about some of the people are in this business or in the wrestling journalism try to get the clicks, yeah, those are the people who are notorious, because originally, yeah, and Sean Ross Sapp, for those who before was actually really liked for a period of time before he went off the deep end, so to speak. But we're not going to really touch on that.
Oh, we had this thing where we like Slice Wrestling because they gave us quality news stories.
Yeah,
that's fallen off. Because I'm like, I don't believe this shit. Yeah, nowadays you read a lot of this stuff. Oh, this is being rumored, this is being reported. I don't believe any of the shit.
As we said, take it with a grain of salt, because you never know if it's clickbait or not. But
honestly, now I don't even think saying take it with a salt. I'm saying flat out, don't believe the shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because a lot of this whole thing with the Wrestling Observer or Ringside News and
Fightful Select is another one that's kind of fallen off.
Fightful Select really freaking shit the bed.
Yeah, and that's saying
Fightful
something.
Fightful Select got slack from a wrestler.
Yeah.
This past week, I forgot what wrestler it was, but Fightful Select really pissed off somebody.
And not just that. I mean, you had Sean Ross Sapp actually know how to piss off most of the IWC. That right, we're not going to really touch on that, but like we said, wrestling journalism has kind of been off the, on the decline, heavy decline, for lack of a better term. But I was going to say,
and they really started abusing their power once the 2010s hit and the internet got way bigger than what it was in the 2000s.
Yeah, and you
remember in the 2000s, man, nobody was really reading dirt sheets.
Yeah,
because now you have smartphones, right? You have smartphones. The internet is more accessible than it ever was.
Yeah, because I remember you mostly get your stuff, like any wrestling information, through a magazine. For those who remember those days. But
yeah, you got your wrestling information through a magazine, and half of the stuff was just recaps of shows.
Yeah, it
wasn't really like, oh, this guy said this, and this thing is being reported and shit like that.
It's
you got wannabe Adam Schefters out there.
Yeah,
and it's a sports analogy. Yes, I pulled out a sports analogy. You got wannabe Adam Schefters who think they know everything.
Even though
it really angers me. But that's the thing. They really started abusing their power once the internet really got big.
And not just internet and social media. That's where
social media too, because social media, you have Sean Ross Sapp on Twitter spewing a lot of bullshit.
Same
you got Fightful Select spewing a lot of bullshit.
And not
Wrestling Observer, spewing a lot of bullshit.
And Ringside News is just clickbaity as hell.
Yo, Ringside News though is like the spawn of like the worst.
But yeah, with Fightful Select though, I mean, it's like now, like the only way to access their content, you have to go through a paywall. That's basically what has happened to Fightful Select at this point. But we're not going to really talk much on that. But
here's the thing with Fightful Select: they know they're spewing bullshit, and now they're conning fans to pay for bullshit.
Shit, that's why because like we said too, like if you want to like actually get some good wrestling news, check out wrestlingnews.co, because you could actually get like actual trustworthy stuff to.
And they don't really report, oh, this thing is reporting this thing, this lie, that lie, this lie, the other lie. Like they're reporting like recaps and like what somebody like already had said, because they go in and they actually interview.
And there's probably news that we're speaking right now that we don't even know about that might be coming out probably say the next hour or so. Like they're constantly, it's like constantly working on some stuff.
But here's the thing, they actually go and talk to these wrestlers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And get news out of these wrestlers. You got these insiders like the Wrestling Observer and Fightful Select just spewing nonsense without talking to the wrestlers first.
I mean, I think it's like there's one incident. I think if I remember correctly, I remember seeing this on Twitter. I think it was about a few years ago. Can't remember who it is. And someone actually, it was either Meltzer or Alvarez of the Wrestling News Observer Radio, and they said something that wasn't true. I think it might have been Ember Moon, if I remember correctly, and or I could be wrong, because I feel like and you had some of these pro wrestlers actually literally clapping back at them.
I think it was either Alexa Bliss or
I think it might have been no. Yeah, but like we said,
I remember either Alexa Bliss or Natalia completely going on a tirade on Twitter, like you don't know what's happening, blah, blah, blah. These beat writers don't know shit.
If I remember correctly, I think that might have been Alexa Bliss and JD going at it on Twitter. I remember.
Yeah, it was that whole. And the thing is, that was like a whole back and forth.
I would thought to myself, like, I would get my popcorn like, this is entertaining.
Bro, I literally had a snack reading this shit.
I was like, man,
when it was happening.
This
was what 2018, 2019,
somewhere around there, yeah.
And it was Alexa Bliss and JD. From NY, dude. And JD is just opinionated. That's the problem.
But then again, we're all entitled. We're all entitled
to an opinion, but you gotta watch what you say.
Yeah, especially
you're on YouTube. You shouldn't sit there and say like spewing lies like that.
Well, it's not just that. And no, yes, I know JD from NY. Yes, I know. Even though his opinions, whether you look at him, but
that's why I don't really respect the guy, because he spews a lot of nonsense. Most of the time he's right. Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
Some of the time, man.
It's like he's speaking the truth 95% of the time, but yet the other 5% is bullshit. There you go. That's pretty much JD.
Here's the thing: when I want to see wrestling news, it has to be 100% no bullshit. That's the thing. Like, you can have your opinions and stuff, right? You can have your opinions. Oh, I don't like this guy because this, that, and the third. He's not a great worker in the ring. He can't wrestle, in my opinion. Like, you can have your opinion.
But
when you're spewing bullshit like that, and you piss off a wrestler, and there's like this whole back and forth,
and there's no evidence, and that's another thing too. Like none of these people actually provide any type of evidence. Like say so.
There's no evidence. Like when we say Dana Brooke is bad,
like you could see it.
You could see it. Everybody sees that Dana Brooke isn't that good. She botches a lot and things like that.
And
JD. I think JD said Alexa Bliss couldn't wrestle.
I think that might have. I think what would have started. I think what that would have caused it. That entire time.
And to me, I don't think Alexa Bliss is that bad. There's been a few times where she did botch and it was botch heavy and she had a bad match.
I mean, yeah. But then again, though, like they're all human beings. It's like we're not perfect individuals. Like, what the fuck you mean? But that's regardless. But moving forward, before we get this out of hand, it also goes to say that EBS was Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful Live reported that AEW recently sent out a document outlining some of the changes they plan to implement regarding performer and fan safety. While several people in the promotion have confirmed that the document is legit, several wrestlers haven't seen it. Good Lord, I can't fucking speak. But the AEW medical team, coaches, and referees came up with the protocols to help protect talent, staff, crew, and the fans. The document noted that there's always risk in pro wrestling, which that's that's no surprise. But they want to minimize it while not compromising the quality of the talent's performances and ability to be creative with their work. A document that was sound quote outright banned unprotected chair shots to the head.
Rob, I don't mean to cut you off, but English, do you speak it?
What are you pulling? So you about Jackson on me, motherfucker?
Yeah.
And we just talked about that too. So the unprotected chair shots to the head, which we just talked about. To the back of the head.
They had banned that because of the whole Cody Rhodes thing where he got cut in the back of his head. He had to get stitches.
Buckle bombs. They also banned the buckle bomb. Obviously because of Sting. Yeah, that was scary to
because
say
of
the
what happened in 2015. They had to ban that. That was obvious.
And I don't think I can imagine like Seth was probably saying, he didn't really mean that for that to happen. I think
you could tell he was like, when he was doing that interview, like, dude, I did not mean. He was like thinking in his head, like, is he okay?
I mean, you could hear that,
and he also rode with him to the damn hospital after the match.
Absolutely,
because he was that remorseful. So yeah, but yeah, like obviously AEW banned the buckle bomb because of Sting.
And it's not just that. Anybody, like one little mishap from a buckle bomb can fuck you up.
Yeah, can fuck you up for life.
And blind moves backward into the turnbuckle, which I could see that. But
you should ban freaking Darby's finisher. No.
Oh yeah,
that man's going to break his back doing that shit.
Then again, if it is banned, Darby doesn't care. That's just who Darby is.
He would get fined or probably suspended for the shit.
But he also say offensive responses, which is also the unnatural position of the arms following concussion. If you're a football fan, Tua was a perfect example of that. When he got knocked,
and also the Sammy and Matt Hardy feud.
Yeah, I forgot about
when Matt Hardy completely cleared the table and he hit his head on the concrete floor.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was ugly. That was ugly to see.
And if it wasn't for Rebby Hardy going apeshit on AEW, rightfully so,
because
they probably would have still gone through with the shit and didn't ban it.
Yeah, well, even though I know Reba Hardy, and before we go any further, like that's the one thing too that sometimes she's also 50 years 50. Well, she can be liked for 50% of the time, but also she should be well hated at the same time for the next 50%. She's just got.
No. Here's the thing. I lost mostly respect for her when she was starting to tease Jeff Hardy on TikTok for his issues.
Yeah, that was just like that.
And then when fans were calling her out for it, she would just get pissed off about it. Oh, I know this guy. And
like you do not know what he's going through.
You don't know what he's going through.
And shit. Speaking of Jeff Hardy, man, look at the shit that he's done the last 20 something odd years. Like, look at the bumps he's taken. Mostly from ladder matches, because dude, him and Matt going with Edge Christian and the Dudleys, without that, like, yeah, Jeff was willing to sacrifice his body for our entertainment. Like, that's what some of these guys do. And yeah, sometimes with Jeff, would I like to see Jeff not do it as much like he did back then? Sure. Because I mean, I said, dude, you want to like at least keep yourself healthy. At least it's like, and you know, another guy that actually kind of went through it, in terms of addiction, Rey Mysterio. Like he even said himself, yeah, I got addicted to painkillers.
He said he took Rey Mysterio took painkillers so much his whole body went numb.
I was like, oh, that's just.
and he was working matches with a numb body.
Like sometimes I feel like people like Reba need to understand like this is a tough business to, you know, the fact that even Matt and Jeff did this for what 20 plus years. And yes, I know Jeff really took most of the brunt of it because the dude just is a complete high flyer going through ladders, tables, you fucking name it. You know, it's like you got to understand like this business. I mean, we've seen at times, you know, unfortunately, the late draws, you know, some accidents tend to happen. You know, it's just really unfortunate to see, you know, happen to good people at times, you know, from what we heard about draws. I mean, the dude was a phenomenal guy, you know, and just coming from D'Lo. But he was a pretty cool dude.
And back to the Rebby thing, because we're kind of going derailed there for a minute. Back to the Rebby thing. She needs to realize this company ain't a ballet. This company ain't all fake. This business ain't all fake. These guys will go through injuries.
I mean, this is what.
And these guys will go through pain. They will take painkillers because of this pain.
I mean,
but this guy clearly had demons. He still has demons. He doesn't even take painkillers anymore. He drinks.
Yeah, and you know,
and the problem there is now you're dogging this man for having demons.
Top with no sympathy whatsoever.
This woman had little to no sympathy when this shit happened. Little no sympathy.
Like
picking on this dude constantly on TikTok. And it got to a point where I kept seeing it constantly where I had to block her ass on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to see the shit.
And it's like, yeah, it's just like, you know, we see, and you know, shit happens. I mean, look, this is what you train to be. You know, like we said, you know, injuries can happen.
And there was fans in the comments like, I would like to see you in a ring. See how much pain you'll be in. I like to see you go through depression and anxiety and have a drug problem or a drinking problem. See you try to go through it.
I mean,
she got so pissy at these comments. Like, it's your freaking fault.
But going forward, because I know we had to get that rant out.
No, we didn't have to get that rant out. We ran about this before. We just reiterated why we were pissed.
But also seizure cells, spitting, bleeding in the crowd, project weapons and projectiles in the crowd. That's kind of obvious. Taking drinks and food from the guests in the crowd. Then again, that, you know, if MJF, that doesn't really apply because he still makes it work nonetheless.
MJF. No, I think that's what caused it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The MJF pouring alcohol on a kid.
And physical contact, yeah, and that's another thing too. I want to kind of discuss too. For the love of God, don't put your hand. Oh boy, let's be real. We seen that firsthand. Like when you fuck with an experienced professional wrestler, yeah, talk about have a rude awakening in a nutshell. Oh boy, that's. Yeah, like we said, keep your hands to yourself is basically what this is basically.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
No, they're actually banning physical contact from the crowd. So basically, if any fan were say to get involved, you know, it's gonna be very bad.
I remember one time, right? And this was when CM Punk was WWE champion at the time.
Oh yeah, this was what Summer of Punk, if I remember correct.
Yeah, and he went up into the crowd, and this guy pushed him.
Oh yeah,
turns around and freaking decks the wrong guy.
I was like,
and that just tells you, man.
Yeah,
don't touch the wrestlers unless they want to give you a high five of their baby faces.
And that's
I don't care. I don't care if they're a baby face and they're walking and you just give them a little pat on the back. That's fine. Which a lot of fans do. That's fine. Whatever. But if you're going and you're trying to, push them, if you're trying to punch them, if you're trying to do all this other shit, I don't care if they're the heel and they're talking shit to you. But you're playing a character.
I mean, that's, and at times we have seen and shit. Or if you look at another instance, don't jump the guardrail. Like how many times we have to say that a couple times? We've seen this.
Dude, I remember there was a clip. It was back in like '97. It was during a Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H match.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
Fan jumped, and and you can find the clip on YouTube because it was recorded. It was at a live event, and I don't know how they converted it from video camera to YouTube, but they did it. But what happened was the fan jumped the guardrail, right? Goes to the ring. Triple H immediately decks this guy, punched him repeatedly.
I was like, damn.
And then Stone Cold comes in and he does the same damn thing. Decks this dude, punches him in the face, and then the guy just and then they throw him out of the ring.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing too. And like some of these wrestlers, they take that. The squared circle is sacred to them.
And a lot of these bookers, man, they don't care if a fan jumps the guardrail. You have the right to beat up the fan. They're in your territory. They're a fair game at that point. You teach them a lesson to not jump the guard.
Or who remembers the incident with Bret Hart at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony? That
was a scary moment.
Yeah, that
and the sad part is they had to edit that out of the repeat of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I've actually kind of watched it. Yeah, you can tell that, but I think rightfully so. But I mean, like we said, just be mindful of your surroundings. Don't, like I said.
And also, there was a piece of shit fan at a live event who thought he was a wannabe wrestler. He was a wannabe wrestler.
Wait, when was this?
This was recently. He was a wannabe wrestler, right? And it was a live event, and Randy Orton's in the ring.
Oh, I exactly know you're okay.
He was on the ropes, celebrating a win. This dude comes in, legit low blows Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, I remember that, and everybody got pissed.
Yo, blacklisted immediately from the IWC immediately.
Oh man, yeah, that was.
And then this doofus cuts a freaking cringy ass promo on YouTube. Oh, you saw what I did to Randy? Yeah, I want to match with Randy. Dude, you're not even signed to the company.
Yeah, that's
You don't even pay your dues. You're just a wannabe wrestler who dressed up in cosplay as a wrestler. Try and beat up Randy.
Let's be real. Like, you don't fuck with an experienced vet like a Randy Orton or and let's be real. Like we said, don't push your boundaries.
But Randy, as soon as the kid was the guy was so much of a coward, right? That Randy didn't even have time to turn around because the kid was already out of the ring.
And like
he already jumped back over the guardrail. Randy Orton was walking over to him like, I'm gonna kick your ass.
And like Randy could have legitimately gotten hurt from that incident.
Yeah, he could have gotten legit hurt.
Because it's like because me and Tyler said this all too. Now, and we're gonna reiterate this. Don't push your boundaries. Like, I swear to God, sometimes the wrestling fans sometimes don't know what boundaries even are anymore, especially in wrestling nowadays. I mean, what?
Newsflash, idiots! The boundary is the guardrail. Don't jump that shit.
Or don't be a fucking stalker, because holy crap, that's another issue that.
Yeah, we already talked about this too, and I have to and let me reiterate this, man. don't stalk wrestlers, right? Because A, they're not into you, and B, look what happened with Sonya Deville and that stalker.
Yeah,
That wasn't gonna end well regardless. Because guess what? She ain't into guys, man.
Oh, not just that. And do you really want to fuck with an MMA fighter? I don't think so.
Do you really want to screw with somebody who can legit break your arm?
Nope.
Who can legit choke you out? Who can legit break your leg?
Like they will, yeah, absolutely not. Or in this case, I mean, that was really, and that was kind of actually, if I'm not mistaken, that actually kind of made the news. Actually, the major.
It was all over. It was all over the news. It was all over social media. It was a big deal because it dealt with a stalker, and I think apparently the guy had a weapon.
He had plans to do stuff, but I'll leave it at that for PG reasons.
No, he was planning to SA her and then unalive her.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. So
we're gonna leave it at that.
But
I'm talking in TikTok terms, man. SA and unalive.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably what was gonna happen if he, lo and behold, got to her.
But also another thing that this document is outright banned. Blood on objects is also not allowed to be thrown at the crowd. The report noted that, quote, there were also a group of spots where a much broader that was listed but still permitted. Medical and coaches must approve of them. Below is a list that could be adjusted by medical, legal, and coaching staff, and it is not set in stone. Here's the list that they kind of broken down in bullet points. Spots and bumps on the ring apron on the outside, obviously so, because that the ring apron does not goddamn give, because we've seen.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that because they just did a spot on Wednesday where basically Ruby Soho face planted the apron. Just this Wednesday. I don't believe that.
But table, ladder, chair spots in and out of the ring only allowed with padding. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I don't believe that either. I don't believe that either.
Any elevated spots outside the barricade, like dives and ladder spots on the stage, around the arena, and places outside the ring.
That's for Sting.
Oh yeah,
that's definitely just for Sting.
You fucked it all up pretty much.
Sting, not for everybody, but for himself. That's just for Sting.
Thank God for that, because dude, you're 62.
We've seen dives on Wednesday happen, so I think that's just for Sting.
All pile driver slash.
Dude, you're 62. And you have bad knees now. Don't be doing that.
Like you're not what you're used to be. But all pile driver slash tombstone variations, including sit down drivers, inverted slash poison hurricanrana, inverted breakers. I could see that because
the inverted breaker could break your damn neck.
And at times, I mean, we had don't want to go off the beaten path, but we have seen there's been one instance of pile drivers gone wrong. Infamous case, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That cut is freaking career short. He was out of the business by like a few years after that.
I think after 03?
After 03, he was done. Until 2022 or 2021, one of those years, where he came back to the ring for one final match against Kevin Owens.
And I mean, yeah. But moving on, we have high risk dives or top rope moves that includes 450, 630, double moonsaults, SSP, and I guess the superplexes and stuff like that. Intentional bleeding of any sort, not just blading. I can see that.
I don't believe that either.
There's
some that. There's some that shouldn't even, that are probably not even considered. Some that are, but some that aren't considered.
Like
I feel like this is like a quarter of a lie. Like some of the stuff I don't believe.
Some of them needs to be changed.
Like definitely the dives. That's definitely just specifically Sting.
Yeah,
looking at you, Sting. Don't do that, Sting. But the rest of the stuff, like the blading and the padded chairs, no.
Throwing people through or over the ring sets. Why the hell would you do that? I don't believe that, but I could see in a way.
I feel like they did that today after that whole let's just toss, Sky Blue blindlessly onto the steps like they did on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, shit, she could have probably tore her knee. You could shred her knee.
No, they were. That's not. I'm not talking about the banging. They literally tossed her whoop, head first on the. She grazed the top of the damn stairs.
Yeah, I mean, thank God she's okay from after that, because man, that's.
And I'm thinking they did that today. They banned that today.
Not just the ring steps, but over the commentary table, bell table, and/or guardrails / barricades weapon usage.
I don't believe that.
No. Yeah, I don't believe that either. But if you just did that through the ring steps, I can understand that point of view, because after, especially after we saw with Sky Blue.
Last night I could see that they banned that, but the weapons and throwing them over on the announce table, I don't believe that.
Well, speaking of the weapons, though, chairs, pipes, kendo sticks, hammers, ring bells, bat, chains, etc., title belts. That was added in there.
No, I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that.
You cut that out.
Cut that shit out.
But also goes on to say, with thumbtacks, skewers, barbed wire, other sharp / puncturing objects, powders.
You still have Jon Moxley signed, so I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, that's. And also throwing weapons of objects of any kind, that's chairs. That I can agree with. First of all,
nearly broke Matt Hardy's neck, or broke his nose.
Yeah,
when Sammy tossed the steel chair at his head.
Yeah. Choking / strangling with hands or a weapon or hanging spots.
Well, clearly you're not supposed to actually choke a guy.
Injury spots or angles, whether or not medical is involved / called to the ring.
What? No. I don't believe injury angles are that bad where they ban injury angles.
Any physicality in the crowd or crowd brawling.
No.
Any physicality involving referees, managers, extra celebrities, or special guests. I don't know about that one.
No.
Well, unless be just funny to see the referees wrestle, which we have seen in the past, which is kind of funny as shit. That's besides the point. Wrestlers were encouraged to speak with coaches, talent relations, medical team, or legal about this list. One talent said they believe it's a good move by helping streamline the show and avoid repeat spots and moves in general, and make more of the athletic spots that the talent are capable of. And that was pretty much it for that. So
most of the stuff, it's like half and half on me. Half of the stuff I believe, half of the stuff
it's like it makes you question why?
Who wrote this shit?
No. Yeah, well,
like some of the stuff I believe, some of the stuff I don't.
Toss it over the ring step. I can see that, because that's an injury, a freak injury waiting to happen.
Yeah, you're lucky that Sky Blue didn't even get hurt last night.
Yeah. So I think your lucky stars for that. And Sting, we're looking at you, dude.
Yeah, that one rule is specifically for you. Don't be jumping off of shit, Sting.
Don't jump off ladders, and don't jump off. What else did you jump off of?
He jumped off the damn entrance thing. The little circle thing they walk through.
Oh yeah,
jumped off of that shit.
Yeah,
he jumped off the chips at Double or Nothing.
Oh my.
For the love of God, Sting, stop jumping off of shit. You're 62.
To get the crowd pop, you're 60 fucking 2. Jesus. I mean, look, Sting's. Then again, Sting has always been known to be a one crazy son of a bitch in terms of throughout his career. But we do have a news article on Jim Ross, and actually so Jim Ross says his health has improved, but still dealing with sciatic issues. Hopes to return to AEW all in. Honestly, I would want to wait to see, like, can he be at least close to 100% if he can? Because if not, because when
at times for me, sciatic issues that just affects walking, like
and that's
and sitting can be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not really like you're bedridden and you're just like super injured. It's like for me that's a relatively minor thing. So I do see him coming back at All In. Oh, yeah. It's like a relatively minor injury, in my opinion.
So Britt Baker, she actually talked about this today, but she actually shared when she found out AEW was holding All In at Wembley Stadium. Steve, I know, right? It's like, what are you on? Like the fact.
No, it's not. He's not on like drugs or anything. He's just a crazy motherfucker.
I mean, God bless him. The dude has a career. His career has been, he had some memorable moments throughout his how long has he been wrestling since he almost. Well, then again, for a very long time.
And I kind of want to know what drugs the doctor gave him for him to like wrestle with like the injury that he had. You know. Because I think he had that neck injury that both Edge and Paige had, or Saraya had.
Yeah,
but really, no. It was more so his back. His back gave on him, and this man is crazy enough to sit here, right? Not just taking bumps. Oh no. Not only is he taking bumps. Not only is he wrestling pretty well, this dude wants to dive off of shit. At 62 years old. Yeah, when he started doing that in the beginning, it was fine, whatever, right? Whatever. But when he tried to do, let me just try to dive 10 feet with bad knees.
And a bad back.
But here's the thing, he landed like frontwards. He was more so like a frontward dive. It wasn't like he was doing it backwards like Darby does, like a crazy motherfucker.
I mean,
but what Sting was doing, the tables are like 10 feet away. He was trying to dive like he was diving off a diving board.
That's just like why? Like why would you think
when you're diving off a diving board, you're going up and you're going down. You're not going up, sail 10 feet and down. You're not doing that.
No, you really can't.
And with bad knees, it's harder to try to freaking full on dive 10 feet.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
This man missed the first table. When he missed the second table, hit the first table, hit his face off the second table, cut up his face.
That's like, dude. That's stuff.
At that point, I'm thinking you're freaking stupid.
Because first of all, you could have we know Sting used to do that a lot during his prime years. For those of the older generation of wrestling,
he was in his 30s when he was doing that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you're
in his 20s and 30s, man. This man is 62
and still crazy enough to fucking do it.
He shouldn't be crazy enough to fucking do it now.
But Britt Baker actually shared her thoughts on AEW All In at Wembley. AEW's Britt Baker made an appearance on Mark Andrews on My Love Letter to Wrestling, where she discussed a wide range of topics, including All In at Wembley Stadium in the UK. It will be the biggest event. AEW's
hold on, brother. Hold on, bro. I'm going to use my tablet. My phone is dying, even though it's on the freaking charger.
All right, man.
It's usually when I'm on StreamYard, because when I'm on StreamYard and I'm charging my phone, it drains my battery still. So I'll be right back, man.
All right.
But I also have to go to the bathroom, so I'll be right back.
All right. We'll take it.
But you keep talking about what you're talking about.
All right. So obviously with Tyler going to take Candace, so I'll be just holding it down for a little bit longer until he comes back. So we're going to be going over Britt Baker actually made some interesting statements on AEW going to Wembley in London. Like I mentioned before, AEW's Britt Baker made an appearance on the Mark Andrews My Love Letters to Wrestling, where she discussed a wide range of topics, including AEW All In at Wembley Stadium in the UK. It would be AEW's biggest event in company history after selling 75,000 tickets. Here are the highlights. One topic in particular, let me get a comment. Well, we don't know yet. We don't know what the card's looking like for Wembley Stadium at the moment. So, but she goes on to say, one of the topics, the importance of AEW All In, and whether it's a big deal for the US fans as in for the UK fans. But she goes on to say, and I quote, I would say yes, even more so maybe because we never been there. We're never been to the UK as a company as a whole, so it's a new territory, and it's the biggest stage you could ask to perform on. So it's huge. I mean, if he had told me when I first signed my AEW contract that we'll be wrestling nearly sold out Wembley, I would say you're absolutely insane. I thought 10,000 people were crazy. If I had never wrestled again at more than front of 10,000 people, I would have been thrilled. And it was the coolest thing in the world to me, and it just keeps on growing and growing. But we're feeling the pressure of this one too. We want to have the greatest show we have ever done because there's going to be so many eyes on this, and we want to have a great first impression. So it's everything you said and then some. And then she found out about it, saying, "quote So just show how naive I was with Tony Khan and Orange Cassidy." Or I went with Tony Khan and Orange Cassidy to Wembley to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Denver Broncos. And I thought we were just there to have a good time. There was not once that I think there was any particular reason we were taking pictures together at Wembley that I would probably have a really good reason to post these pictures in a couple of months. Literally never. I didn't even think twice about it. And then as time went on, we started hearing rumblings about it. Then I think back to the trip, and I was like, wait a second. So, now of course everybody knows, but I would say it, but it was kept pretty hush hush until the week that everybody found out that the guys found out. We really didn't know. It was really kept secret, end quote. And obviously her reaction to it, saying, quote, everyone's really excited because we're finally making our way across the pond, but B, it's a huge stadium, it's a huge arena, and it's like, oh my god, the pressure's on. Like, we don't want to be there in front of a couple thousand people. That wouldn't be a great first impression. Right now, it's a relief of a little bit that we're selling so many tickets, but it's also a little bit of pride. Like, I think we're all very proud of it, and we're really excited. And now it's just not, we want the product to be the best it could possibly. That's TK in a nutshell. I mean, that is such a Tony Khan chess move, and I am so happy that's paying off. So overall, it's kind of interesting that how she found out of it, and just real. I do like her. She admitted that she was naive about it when they actually made that trip. When Jacksonville and the Denver Broncos went over to Wembley at the time, and not even myself included too. Like, I would never would have think AEW would actually pull this off, but they did a really good, did a fine damn job of it without announcing any matches for the show itself coming in next month. Towards the end of end of next month, I think it is. I think that's when the date is. Regardless. But she actually did say who she wants to wrestle at All In. Have someone, and she pretty much says, quote, have someone from the UK just because of the natural nemesis there. Honestly, I would probably say Saraya because I want to get a win back on her so bad and to wrestle her in her home, pawn her home country and beat her there. And that would, for me, be the sweetest revenge ever because she beat me in her first match back in what felt like a decade. So I'm still recovering from that. My prizes are a title shot I would love to wrestle Saraya and pin her in front of her mom. Oh boy, that's but she's not wrong though. I would not want to have no issues with that. And what I mean by that is just like the fact that you have, if you ever get Saraya on the show, man, I mean, I think you should at that point. You should, because I mean, you're going to her backyard. You have some. I think that's pretty much about it in terms of what you got in terms of the UK town. But then again, if Jamie Hayter wasn't hurt, yeah, you'd probably be in her backyard as well. So you probably have two of the, Saraya and Jamie Hayter going at it 1-on-1. But at the same time, I mean, look, Jamie Hayter unfortunately has dealt with an injury at Full Gear, and I know or when I think it might be Revolution. Oh, speaking of which, Tyler's back.
All right, I'm back. What did I miss?
We were pretty much going over Britt Baker's thoughts on the AEW at Wembley, but she did make some interesting points, like that she found about it, she found about the event during a trip to Wembley the first time when the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Denver Broncos made a trip over there, and so that's pretty much what led up to the way that this event has kind of been talked about. But they kept it hush hush for what felt like forever, according to Britt Baker.
Yeah, I mean, if they were really planning this since AEW's inception, then yeah, it's been forever. It's been a good
5 years.
5 years since AEW had first been created.
Yeah.
So if they were talking about this for the last 5 years and they kept it hush hush for that long, yeah.
But she also did say she wants to wrestle Saraya in the UK. I mean, why not?
Why not have Saraya in the card?
Because I even talked about saying, look, if Jamie Hayter wasn't hurt, I mean, nice would have her on the show as well. But unfortunately, that's never going to be the case.
I feel like if Jamie Hayter didn't get hurt, didn't get hurt, I can't speak English now. God damn. If Jamie Hayter did not get hurt, I feel like the turn would have happened during the build-up of all time. I feel like the heel turn with Britt Baker would have happened there. I do see it in the future, but then again, it probably still wouldn't have happened because Britt Baker is now turned into like one of the top baby faces in AEW,
and she's
been killing it there. She's been killing it as the baby face, that baby face role for a while. I don't know, man. I feel like Jamie Hayter would have been a great in that great spot there against Britt Baker. That's how I feel. But give it to the next UK star that you have, and that's Saraya.
I think because right now I'm just hyped. It's like, can August hurry up and we get to All In, because I'm excited for this this show. I mean,
it could be a good show, man. It could be a good show. Where the seeds are being planted for an MJF and Adam Cole feud.
Yeah, even though it's
the inevitable is going to happen with this.
Oh
team,
yeah,
MJF is going to turn. We all know he's going to turn. He's bullshitting the bullshitter, but he's bullshitting the fans.
I mean,
he's bullshitting Adam Cole. Adam Cole is finally warming up to him. Once he fully warms up to him, bam, the turn.
That's when you pull the trick.
We all know what's going to happen. Adam Cole is going to finally try to warm up to this guy, which he's already warming up to him in storyline. He's warming up to him. As soon as he fully commits to warming up to him, blam, turn. And it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to happen next week. I feel like it's what's going to happen next week, the final.
Yeah,
no, it's not going to happen next week. The final's that's going to happen in the pay-per-view. Or no, they have the match. Or no, they have the match of Collision.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to happen on Collision. I was thinking it's going to happen. This build was going to conclude it All Out, but no. We're having a heel turn at a random we're gonna have a heel turn at Collision, and that's gonna build up to All Out. And that's gonna be the start of the build to All Out. So we'll have that. We'll have hopefully Britt Baker and Saraya going at it because they've been feuding for a while.
Because she wants to get that revenge back after dropping.
Yep.
Even though in reality it was, Britt was, and we actually kind of discussed this more times than not the last few weeks that, yeah, Britt Baker in a nutshell. Look, even though she wants like quote unquote revenge on it, but she's a locker room leader. She was actually willing to put, especially for a talent like Saraya who has not seen the ring.
But I really don't think she's gonna put her over this time.
Oh yeah, I know.
She ain't putting her over. I feel like here you had her get put over the first time. The second time, the babyface has to get her comeuppance here. You cannot have the face lose.
And she even says like she wants to be Saraya in front of her mother. Could you imagine like how disrespectful that would?
Saraya caused this in storyline, so Britt Baker is rightfully pissed off, and she wants to beat her in front of her family.
So last thing before we wrap it up, Becky Lynch had to get a procedure done. Actually, had a cyst removed. This is coming from Andrew Ravens. Pretty much like hours before that Monday's episode of Raw, the WWE had stopped advertising Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark on the show. As previously reported, Lynch was pulled from the bout because she was medically cleared as of that afternoon, only to be later to ending up having the bout where she went over while attending the 2023 ESPY Awards on Wednesday with her husband, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. The former Raw Women's Champion told USA Today Sports that she had a procedure done for a cyst and wasn't waiting clearance for Monday's match.
Well, let me tell you something there, man. She actually is recovering pretty damn well from the looks of it because she was at the ESPYs just last night.
Yeah.
Because they were revealing, I think, best athlete or whatever that was, or the best moment from an athlete, whatever the hell the category was, and the whole thing, the whole shebang there. But usually when you have surgery, you're like bedridden and you're like in pain. She doesn't look like she's in pain. She doesn't look like, she can't move. She's moving very well. Now, given that she probably didn't have the surgery yet, but honestly,
that was coming 4 hours ago, as when that article was put out.
Yeah, she probably was talking like, look, I have to have a surgery done. I need time off, and they're probably giving it to her. But I'm not sitting here saying, oh, she's a liar. She's not. We know, dude. No one can lie about that. Oh, I have a cyst. Oh, I have this disease or that disease. No one lies about that kind of shit.
Nah.
If you lie about that shit, you're an asshole. Becky's not an asshole. So I feel like she hasn't had the surgery yet, but if she does have the surgery, when she does have the surgery, I hope for a speedy recovery from you, and I hope you come back into the ring and finish this feud with Zoe Stark. By God, finish this feud with Zoe and Trish. Because Trish is, honestly, turn Trish face. Turn her face.
Yeah.
Her as a heel, I never liked her as a heel. 2003, I didn't like her as a heel. 2003 to 2005, I didn't like her as a heel. I hated her as a heel.
No, I think she was more built as more of a face.
Because even when she's freaking cutting promo, she sounds nice as hell.
It's just like
she doesn't have it sounds like she doesn't have an evil bone in her body. You should be sounding physically imposing.
But you don't.
That's why in 03, 04, she was given Christian to be her goddamn mouthpiece. Because he sounded more of an asshole than she did.
And well, gotta take it from one Canadian to another, apparently.
But I think overall, though, Britt Baker looks like she's ready to have a blast, come all in, and rightfully so.
I feel like I really do like, even though if Saraya loses, I like that she's trying to give Saraya her moment at home. I do like.
I mean, what's the last time she ever wrestled in her own backyard? It's been a while.
Before WWE.
Oh yeah, I remember fighting with my family, so that was kind of funny as shit when they.
When every match she was wrestling in, she was wrestling her brother.
But yeah, plus, I mean, then again, the fact you almost had that shit almost like 90% packed out. It's like, yeah, you done a good job with that. That's for sure.
They have what, like 87,000 fans?
I think almost close to over 85,000. They sold over 70.
No. Earl had said it was like 87,000.
Yeah, it's almost full. The entire freaking arena.
Almost full house. And here's the thing: Wembley is not a small freaking arena. That's a giant arena.
Because that entire stadium had to get an entire remodel a handful of years ago. Yeah, and you pretty much had to pack, and you had to open up more seats, knowing that you had somewhere to bring in more people. So you're gonna have like 90,000 plus come all in.
Yeah, you're gonna have 90,000 plus. You had to open up more seats to have more seating in that already big arena.
Yeah,
that's gonna be, even if it was a packed house before the seating arrangements were changed, you would have probably had a freaking
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. And it's good, but yeah. So that being said, Kota Ibushi, can't wait to see him when he does.
Yo, you still have the clip?
I do. Actually, I had I post it's on my TikTok.
Yo, you want to play that clip on here?
I don't have it. I didn't upload it on the on StreamYard.
Damn it! All right, whatever. That's fine. I was gonna end the stream off with the clip, but that's all right, man.
But yes, it's gonna be fun to see what Cody.
If you want to see our reactions to Kota Ibushi, and I got laughed at by Zach because I told you no spoilers. No spoilers.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, he is like ahead of me, like more often than not. And when it comes to, surprises like that, like a wrestler returns or a damn
like a debut or something like that.
Debut, like Kota Ibushi, somebody like Kota Ibushi, or that time when the Cody returned, or that time when Edge returned, or whatever,
or
like those moments.
Or my crazy reaction when Liv Morgan won the SmackDown Women's Championship and Money in the fucking Bank.
That was when I started it, because it just, if you watch that back, I legit got a little bit pissed off, and I'm sorry about that, Rob. I didn't mean that. I hate spoilers. I hate it. And you were like, she won it. I'm like, dude, really? And then literally a minute later, after you said something, I saw it happen on my TV. And mind you, this isn't like when we're watching Dynamite. This guy has basic cable. I don't, so I have to rely on a streaming app. So I chalk it up as, I'm streaming on a streaming app. He's streaming it on TV.
Actually, no. This was on Peacock as well.
No. I'm talking about AEW. I'm talking about the difference.
Oh yeah, I stream it on an app, my Xfinity Stream app.
That's a totally different app. I'm streaming it on TBS, that app. So we're streaming on two different apps. So you can chalk it up as that being the case. But with Peacock, I don't know what is up with Peacock and not matching up with I don't know how these creators do it. Like when they're in separate places. Where they're in separate places. It's like this, right? Like this. And they're watching the same thing, but they match it up well. But when we watch shows and stuff or pay-per-views, like on Peacock or on BR or what have you,
it's always a timing issue.
It's never lined up. He's always ahead of me.
Or sometimes I'm behind.
Or sometimes I'm ahead, he's behind, and like there's like a little small, little patch of time where we're lined up. And that's like maybe like 30 minutes of like the show. And then we're back to him being ahead or I'm ahead.
Hey, like,
we can't even do play-by-plays together anymore because of that. Which sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I just got to this player. Or, oh, I just got to this player. Or, oh, I just got to that moment in a match. I just got to that return. That's the story behind of the no spoiler thing from last night. Is that I always say before the moment even happens on my end, no spoilers, because it happens on his end. He starts screaming, like full on screaming because he's excited. I'm like, no spoilers. Last night he's like, oh, and then he had to go like this.
Yeah.
To like block himself from saying anything. And then the moment happened, and then we just reacted.
It was, but yeah, I mean, but regardless, though, I mean, even though we might not,
but if you want to see that moment, go on my TikTok page, or go on my Twitter. Go on my Twitter too, and I post it on my Twitter. Check us out on. Go ahead.
Yeah, but if you guys want to, because I also have it on this channel's official TikTok. Make sure that's going to be linked down below as well. At Sports Wrestle 97. Same with us on Instagram. So obviously we for those who are asking why, it's pretty much we had a new fresh brand new coat of paint. So still it's the same.
It's a brand new coat of paint from us because we felt like just calling it the Philly Sports Talk podcast, it was just only catering to one group. It only attracted one group. We felt like we were trying to bring in both sport fans and wrestling fans into the fold here. So that's why we changed the name to that.
And we just did a quick.
I'm a little off center here to that. At the top there. Yep, right there. Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
It's like this hand is like not even this arm is like here to there. I'm like confused half the time, but yeah, it's right there. That's why we changed our name.
Yeah, but yeah, check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That's all going to be linked down below as well.
And also follow my TikTok too, because I also promote.
Absolutely.
It's just Tyler Michael Coleman. It's just my name. My full name. Follow me there. I just do a lot of personal, like funny stuff. It's just my personal account. So, but I also promote shows there too. So follow me there. But also follow the official page of the Sports and Wrestling Connection. Almost called it the Philly Sports Talk podcast just now, even though I'm used to the name. Follow that official TikTok page. Follow the official Twitter page, the official Instagram page. I'm also on Twitter. That's the official It's From Me podcast page.
Absolutely.
Follow me there. I'll keep you guys updated on new episodes and stuff like that. I forgot to update it for the night's page or on tonight for the Tonight Show.
I think we were getting an episode in this week.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were getting an episode in this week because of my buddy's work schedule. Sometimes he's closing on certain weeks on this day or any other day. Like we're like we have to stream. We don't stream that day because
Well, it's not like my previous job. So I'm coming home a lot earlier.
He comes home at what? You come home at 4 or 5?
Most of the time at 6 at night. By the time I'm home, I'm there between 6:15, 6:30 at 6:30 is the latest I can get home, depending on Belmar traffic. I would say.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started about Belmar traffic, bro.
But
you be lucky if one of those weeks to come home at 7. You think it's bad, bro?
Partly, I haven't really. I mean, I have gotten close. I think one night,
honestly, around like 6, 7 o'clock. That's like what, like late rush hour?
something like that. I don't know.
Usually like 3 o'clock, bro. Hell.
Actually, funny enough, yesterday I got done at 3. I ran into no traffic. I was home by 3:15, 3:30 at the latest.
Usually, like you'd have. I mean, it's there's still traffic, but there's like a lot of moving traffic. So,
It was more like moving traffic, but
it's really not that bad. Like I'm saying, like some of the times, like if there's an accident there, like dude,
I mean,
forget it. It's bad.
Welcome to Jersey. It's either
welcome to Jersey. But guess what? You think Jersey's bad? Try driving through the goddamn New York or Connecticut.
Well, I won't say, but that being said, before, because I know we got to kind of get a little off topic. Appreciate anyone who kind of hung out a little bit tonight, because obviously I want to say an impromptu episode tonight, but hey, so another episode nonetheless.
It's not really an impromptu. It's not really. It's Thursday. It's our normal time. It was our normal day. It was just another episode. But the problem was that it's not so much impromptu. It was so much of we didn't know what was happening with your work schedule. If you're working late, like usually, like when you close, you're like leaving at 11 o'clock.
Well,
I'm already in bed just scrolling through TikTok and shit.
Yeah, before you start.
I'm not up for like streaming, and everybody's in bed. I'm usually loud when I stream because I want to invoke like a lot of emotion.
Oh yeah.
To entertain the people. I don't want to just keep talking like this and not talk like I have any emotion that I'm, not
monotone.
Like I'm not happy with my life, and I don't want to sound like that. I want to have emotion. I want to entertain you guys, and that's why I like to do early streams while everybody is up. I live with other people in the house. I live with my family. So,
don't you kidding? But like I said, that being said, obviously, like I said, you're gonna see the same two mugs like you've seen before. You with the new fresh rebrand on all social media.
You gonna see us. You gonna see us like you see Shawn Michaels. We a bunch of sexy boys, bro. I'm telling you that right now. We good looking, bro. You gonna see our good looking mugs.
Mm-hmm. Well, that being said, like I said, we'll still bring you pretty much everything that was either sports related. A couple games. When I stream some games here and there, which I have done.
There was one stream. I'm like, I didn't even know you were still streaming at the time.
Yeah, it was Red Dead. That was a couple days ago.
It was Red Dead. It was like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, yo, you're still up? He goes, yeah, I'm streaming Red Dead. I'm like, at 5 in the morning?
Hey, shit. Once I will admit that game.
What shocked me too, you still had an audience at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it's great.
Who the hell is still up at 5?
Well, yes, I know I'm up. Well, you have to think too of other countries that have different time zones that are still
I wasn't taking that into account. Until then, yeah.
I mean, I had somebody from Costa Rica come through, and and stuff like that. And plus, too, I want to get a lot done.
You probably had Australia too, because Australia's already, dude. It's already what, Friday in Australia?
Something like that. Yeah, they're usually a day.
It's like early morning on a Friday there.
Something like that, or sometimes usually in broad daylight on a Friday.
Freaking time traveler.
But that that, like I said, there's probably you're gonna see some other gaming streams. Red Dead. I know that's good.
Bro, when I finally I keep forgetting I have $60. I have to put it in the freaking bank, bro. I keep forgetting about the shit. Once I put the $60 in the freaking bank, I'm getting freaking Fight Forever.
Oh, yeah, Chelsea, that's what I'm going to do. The same thing.
If you get the same thing, we better be streaming that shit.
No, definitely. That's definitely for sure. But that being said,
if you get it, bro, like, if you get that game, we are doing a freaking barbed wire exploding death match, bro. First stream.
Are we doing the crazy ending or actually the lame ass ending from 2021?
We'll do the crazy ending, and then for comedy purposes, we'll do both in one stream. We'll do one serious one and one unserious one just to crack up. Have people just crack up. We'll do the unserious one.
That's crazy. Yeah, Raphael, we're all can't wait for Blood and Guts.
Yo, next week, bro. Yo, can next week come faster? I'm telling you, I want to skip Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. The next 5 days, bro. Skip it all. Go right to Wednesday.
We appreciate that, Rafi. Especially, and you bring it too, man. It's not just me and Tyler each and every week.
Man, dude. Thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, dude. You bring it too. Roll brings it too. Anybody we have on, we have great chemistry with. So
and next week we're definitely gonna have a full house for Blood and Guts. So you do not want to miss that.
We have 4 people here.
Absolutely. And that being said, ladies.
And did you talk to Earl about that? The permanent host thing?
Shit, I didn't.
Dude, message him, bro.
But yeah, so that being said.
But hold on. But yeah, we have a lot lined up for you guys for next week. A lot. The return of the Monday Night Raw watch party. The definitely probably not doing NXT. I hate to say it.
Nah,
NXT's been kind of bland, you know.
Yeah. For those who have seen, because usually I'll be doing that each and every week, but it's kind of hard. I can see where Tyler understands. It's kind of hard now to get into nowadays. Yeah,
like when NXT was black and gold and they had dark ring and the dark ambiance and shit. Like the environment was just darker.
Yeah.
I liked it better when it was like 2012, 2019 NXT. 2014 to 2019 NXT.
Yeah. Well,
but when Ben started doing that 2.0 shit last year, I hated it.
You pretty much ruined it. He
ruined NXT for me. And then now you've got these colorful cartoon characters, shall I say?
Yeah.
Which I hate. I don't like it. There's one group that I actually like that's kind of cartoony, but they've grown on me, and that's Chase U.
Chase U, yeah.
That's the thing that I can get behind.
And don't get me wrong, but you do have some stars down there as well, which will say, you got Braun Breaker, Carmella Hayes.
They just got Grayson Waller moved up. They had him.
They actually did pretty well against Edge in his debut match on SmackDown, which is
Edge put him over after the match on live television.
And that's but that should tell you
he put him the hell over. I'm like, yo, Grayson Waller's gonna make it.
I mean,
if you freaking Edge put you over like that verbally in a promo,
that's a huge.
He's like, what do you say? Like, you got it, kid, or you're a star, kid, or what?
I don't know exactly what he said, but in a way, he's kind of acknowledging, like,
he looked at him and said, "You're a star, kid," and then threw like his armband or something at him.
It was kind of like how I would say that the way how John Cena did with Austin Theory at WrestleMania, even though that match was kind of lackluster, but
you know, not just that. You know what that reminded me of? Was when Undertaker, after a ladder match in 2002, went back to the ring against Jeff Hardy, and after the match, he looked at him and it just raised at the arm.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a guy,
like, you got something, dude. A legend like that saying that you got something. Come on, you're gonna make it. You are going to make it.
And for those who have not seen Grayson Waller, I mean, the dude, he comes out as a douchebag, but even with that's kind of how his character is, and it's funny as hell.
What he do. But dude, I like, you know what, that finisher he does off the top rope. As he's flying off the top rope, he's doing a freaking basketball crossover into an elbow drop.
Oh yeah,
that's like the sickest move ever, dude. I like that move.
But yeah, so that being said, this is gonna wrap it up. And
wait, I forgot to promote. Next week, we will not be back for another episode of It's For Me podcast. I will be on the Wrestling Experience with Earl next week, so we're not doing that. We're not doing that one, so go over to Earl Cole's channel on Thursday next week to see me and Earl talk about some wrestling. I think we'll be going over Dynamite and the build-up for that pay-per-view coming up soon, All Out or All In, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be talking about that. And then Friday will be SmackDown.
And then you also got the Blood and Guts recap as well with Earl as well.
Oh yeah, that's what we're recapping. The Blood and Guts. That's what we're recapping. We were not talking about All Out or All In. We're talking about the Blood and Guts recap.
Well, yeah.
So we'll be recapping Blood and Guts, which will be a very exciting time, you guys. It's gonna be crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But one final thought, Tyler, I am coming after your belt.
If you think hold on, I'll get to that because you want to talk some shit. I'm giving receipt. But if you think Kota Ibushi trying to burn himself with fireworks is bad,
that clip that was
I said that shit to you on TikTok, bro. But yeah, like if you think that's bad, wait till Blood and Guts because he can get crazy. That just shows he can get crazy. But yeah, back to you talking shit. You ain't touching that title.
Oh yes,
you rap for Earl.
I ain't touching that belt off you. Whether you
no, you're not getting that belt off you. There's no way in hell.
I'm carrying that
shit. I'm carrying that shit to the first crossover with Ghoulie. All right. Because that's gonna happen. That's potentially gonna happen is the crossover with Ghoulie.
I can't wait.
And I can't wait for that either because we talked that out. Me and Ghoulie, we talked that out. It potentially will happen.
That'll be a first for this channel as well.
It's not set in stone yet, but it's potentially gonna happen. But I will carry that shit to that day. That does happen. Because me and Ghoulie are gonna have a champion versus champion feud. All right.
This is gonna be fun. Like I said, it's going to get really fun from here on out. Not just from me.
And Raph, I know you've been talking a lot of shit the last few weeks ever since I won that belt. That money.
Oh yeah, me and Raph have been talking a lot of shit. So
y'all been talking. Yo, Earl's been too nice to me. I don't know why.
I think Earl's.
You don't have a bad bone in your body, so I respect him. So I'm not even going to talk shit at him. I'm not going to talk more. I'm not. He's excluded from me talking shit to him.
Mm-hmm.
It might be an MJF. It might be an MJF type of ploy. I don't know, but
hey, well said.
Utmost respect for that. Utmost respect.
But yeah,
but you guys don't get any of my respect for talking shit. All right, none. You guys aren't taking that belt off me. I'm the champ.
Not for long. I will say that.
No, for long. All right. No, not for long.
You're dropping it. I'm going to take that belt off you at SummerSlam.
No, I'm retaining that belt at SummerSlam, bro.
But yeah,
I'm retaining that belt.
But yeah, for those who are wondering what we're talking about,
the problem is I'm probably going to duck you at AEW pay-per-views because I can't watch that shit. That'll be a number one contendership thing.
Probably, but we'll see.
I'll be ducking you guys for AEW because I don't know if I'll be able to watch it. Unless the Max deal happens. AEW, please go to Max.
But that being said,
I'm not losing that belt.
But like we said, from here on out, it's going to be a lot of fun. Whether it's, you'll see me do, and obviously, like I mentioned this before we get up out of here, you're gonna see some NHL content, even though before the last couple of years.
And hold on, I'm not done talking shit. I just thought of something, man. That's revenge for you being co-champions with me, and then sweeping the belt from under my feet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
A few years ago. Yeah, that story continued, and I won.
You're gonna be acknowledging me, mother,fucker. So I will say that much.
Yeah. Keep talking your shit. Keep talking your shit.
Hey, Tyler, you know me better than anybody. But yeah, so that being said, appreciate everyone who came in for another episode of the It's Only Podcast, and we are out.
Peace.